Hi, my name's Angie Bauma. I'm the Senior Land Steward at the Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy. Today I'm at the proposed Finch Creek Nature Sanctuary, just south of the Grass River Natural Area. I'm here today to talk to you about why this place is special from a botanical and wildlife interest perspective. On the property, we have over 110 species that have been documented thus far, and the floristic quality index for the site is 45, which is far and above the statewide average of 20 for a parcel. And this indicates that the botanical quality of the site is extremely significant from a statewide perspective. As you can see, the cedar trees here are a mature stand of cedar. They are growing in a classic rich conifer swamp habitat along the Crow Creek corridor. And these trees, I would estimate, are somewhere in the 200 to 300 year age group. There's a small grove of them here. The rest of the cedars look like they may be 100 years old. But this is just a really special place from a flora and fauna perspective. The amount of wildlife that depends on this unique structure of down woody debris behind me that you can see, and the old trees as habitat is of critical importance for many species of wildlife. On the property, there's also hardwood conifer swamp, which was dominated by hemlock trees as the overstory species and ash. And then we also have a Mesic northern hardwood forest on the site as well. All of these habitat types are listed as vulnerable in the state of Michigan due to habitat loss or other factors. So protecting these species is of extreme importance. Here I am in a wetland opening within the hardwood conifer swamp habitat. A hemlock is the key species of a hardwood conifer swamp versus a rich conifer swamp. You can probably hear to the side there's a tributary stream feeding into the larger Finch Creek. So there's groundwater flowing from higher elevations down into the creek, and this creates a really great habitat for species that like to take advantage of the extra sunlight and water that are in these open wetland areas. So here we have a species that's pretty specific to this kind of wetland, groundwater influence type of habitat within the hardwood conifer swamp forest, and this is called purple Avens. Purple Avens has a C value of 7, which means it's pretty specific to this particular habitat type and indicates that there's a higher quality wetland here that we're looking at. So it's a pretty special plant to find today. So we're in old glacial moraine topography here, as you can see from this large hillside that we're on, where the Mesic northern forest is most dominant. And this drier hillside is great habitat for this forest type that feeds into the adjoining rich conifer swamp on Crow Creek and the hardwood conifer swamp on Finch Creek. And it creates a great diversity of habitat for wildlife species as they forage through different seasons, through different habitats, and provides a variety of food and habitat shelter for many different species.
Hello, I'm Todd Vigland, Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy Land Protection Specialist. We're at the proposed Finch Creek Nature Sanctuary today to talk about the importance of protecting this 56-acre property, not only for the fantastic flora and fauna, which it certainly has, but the importance of the property to the water quality of chain of lakes and ultimately the East Grand Traverse Bay watershed. This property is a really classic example of what we call a headwaters property. And I'm standing right above a very large spring, and that's a great indicator of a headwaters property. Chain of Lakes watershed has a wonderful abundance of permeable sand. Now that condition allows precipitation falling from the sky to quickly get into the water table and make groundwater. Sand is a wonderful filter, so any contaminants, pollutants, or nutrients that it picks up along the way can be filtered in that top layer before it gets into what we call the recharge area of the groundwater. So these conditions provide an abundance of clean, cold groundwater for the whole Chain of Lake system. So water flowing out of this magnificent spring here very shortly is going to flow into Finch Creek. It's going to flow north about 2.5 miles and enter the beloved Grass River Natural Area and Clam Lake. In Clam Lake, it's going to flow west about 3.5 miles and enter Torch Lake. Now, once it enters Torch Lake, it could hang out there for 10 to 20 years. So once it ends its residency there, it's going to flow south through the Torch River and enter Lake Skagamog and adjacent Elk Lake. It'll travel north about the half the length of Elk Lake until it enters the rather short Elk River and eventually spills into Grand Traverse Bay. Elk River provides 180 billion gallons of water to East Grand Traverse Bay every year. Also, East Grand Traverse Bay is the drinking water for Traverse City. So we've learned over the years protecting land that how you protect the land on which a raindrop falls preserves the water quality of your watershed. So keeping this water clear from this spot all the way to Grand Traverse Bay protects the quality of water of the Chain of Lakes and also Grand Traverse Bay. If you'd like to help us protect this property, please contact Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy, and thank you for your support.